All right, how's it going, everybody? I know nobody's watching, so I just want to say hello to everybody out there watching. It is time for the 2025 FYPD draft breakdown. I'm your host, Keith DeMolder. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a little bit wonky right now, but we appreciate you, uh, all zero of you watching right now, for sticking with us. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So right now, this is the Bahdcast. We're doing the first year player draft. We've had it twice already, but we had a regular draft that happened in 2024. Last year we had the first year player draft, and I guess this is still a first year player draft, but it's the second time we're having it. So the second first year player draft, if you will. So that is happening tomorrow. Coming up on the pod, we have a bunch of different things. We're going to start with last year's first year player draft, the first of its kind in our league. I'm going to break that down a little bit. We're going to break down some of the picks made in last year's first year player draft. The top 5 picks, we'll rank them. And then I will rank them. And then we'll just talk about that draft generally. And then we'll get right into the first round mock draft style for this year in the picks that I kind of think might happen. I'm trying to predict who's going to go where. It is definitely a crapshoot. But with that, let's just kind of get right into it. Oh, also later on in the pod, we do have some diamonds in the rough that we are going to go through as well. Guys like Chris Bubich and Noah Cameron, ironically, both on the Royals, who we're going to kind of get into. So we will talk about that, talk about some guys, maybe some more AAA type players who could be guys this year. Not entirely sure what's going to happen with that. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some rotation guys. Mainly the second half of the pod, we're going to talk pitching. But for the meantime, we're going to talk about the first year player draft. So with that said, let's take a look at the last year's draft analysis. So just taking a look at this, the first year player draft from 2025. When you look at the full draft, a lot of guys hit. Unfortunately for the Bods, not much hit for us. But let's just kind of go through it. I mean, an excellent draft for everyone else. I feel like the first 2 rounds, 2.5 rounds were some of the best prospects in Major League Baseball. T-Flow going with Sasaki, a tough look. He's still a talented player, but in terms of fantasy-wise, maybe something to be desired. But yeah, let's go through it. Travis Bazzana, number 2, Chase Burns, J.J. Weatherholt, Hai-Sung Kim, Hagen Smith, Jack Caglione, Christian Moore, Nick Kurtz, Connor Griffin, Cam Smith, and Charlie Condon to round out the top 12. So just some overall thoughts. It was a lot. I'm a lot more prepared going into this draft, as you will hear me talk about in just moments. But a lot that we didn't really know. I'm just talking for myself and Connor as well. We thought, Christian Moore, he's a big name. He went to Tennessee, he hit all these home runs. It wasn't, in hindsight, would we have done it again? Probably. We didn't really know Nick Kurtz. We heard the name, but it was like, is he too much of a pop guy? Is he, is there a chance that he doesn't really do anything? Well, we were proven very wrong. The guy was one of the best rookies in recent memory. I mean, the guy is an absolute tank, and showed us in 2025 why we should have got that, but unfortunately we did not get that. Another guy, Connor Griffin, the undisputed number 1 prospect in baseball, went 2 behind us. It's like the Kobe Bryant, draft or the Michael Jordan draft or whatever. Like, we could have got that, but instead we went with someone else, and that someone else ends up turning out to be one of the best players in fantasy. So unfortunate for the Bods, I guess. Let's just kind of go down the list. I made a couple graphics here to showcase some things. So an interesting thing I saw was of all the draft picks. Here's the list of players that are still on. You take a look. Most guys, T-Flow, Noah, Tyler, Nate, Tommy. They all kept their original draft picks. So everybody that they selected in the draft, they're still on their roster, which kudos to you guys for sticking with it. Really, really, you know, believing in your draft picks. For us, we're amongst bottom of the league. Us, Bouchard, Newman, we're all tied for having only just 2 of them left on our team, which we're a little bit more active on the minors, the waiver wire, than some of these other teams. It's not bad nor good. I mean, some of the draft picks hit. T-Flow, I feel like, had a pretty good draft. So you can't blame anyone for the way they did it. If their draft picks hit, they hit. For some of them, maybe not so much. But yeah, let's take a look at the top 5 picks according to moi. So the top 5 picks from last year's draft: Connor Griffin, number 1; Nick Kurtz, number 2; Trey Savage, number 3; Travis Bazzana, number 4; and JJ Weatherholt, number 5. So the reason I have this as my rankings is because Connor Griffin is the undisputed number 1 overall prospect right now. We see him in spring training. He has been going absolutely off. He has been hitting homer after homer. And so that, I think, is the reason why I have him as the top choice from last year's draft, and especially given, what was he, pick 11? It's or pick 10, whatever it was. Let's look back at it. Hold on. Let's bring it back. Yeah, Connor Griffin, pick number 10, and he's the number 1 undisputed draft pick in baseball. So, shout out to Zane for getting that. We all did not get that. We should have got that. Obviously, Connor Griffin has not played a single inning of Major League Baseball. There's plenty unknown. Who knows? Maybe he'll get hurt. Not entirely sure what happens with him. But the fact that he's the number 1 prospect, that should mean he was the number 1 draft pick, right? Nick Kurtz, an amazing pick, too. I feel like they're like 1A, 1B sort of thing. It's just about your perspective. Do you want a guy like Kurtz who does K? He plays not a premium position. Connor Griffin, he plays shortstop, could go to third. You never know, right? With Kurtz, he's mostly a first base DH kind of guy. That's his ceiling. He's not going to gain athleticism overnight and start playing the outfield or short or second or third or catcher. So that's why I have him at 2, but he still is an amazing pick. Connor Griffin just has all the hype around him, and so I think that, especially when it comes to longevity in the game and the undisputed number 1, and they've always hit, like, he's going to be a star. Number 3, Trey Savage. I mean, we saw in the playoffs just how good Trey Savage is as a player. The reason why he's number 3 and not a little bit higher is because there is some injury stuff. I mean, they're limiting him. At least the reports are saying that the Blue Jays are going to limit him this year. And so I'm a little bit worried about what his future is going to be like if the Jays are, keeping him on an innings limit. Who knows? I mean, the bottom line is that he's one of the most talented young pitchers in baseball. It's not like he's a perfect prospect by any means, but he's been pretty damn good. And that was and especially, I mean, he's number 3, the best pick, not just because he's a good player, but because of the value that Noah got him for. I mean, a 2nd-round pick, and the guy is starring in the World Series. Like, that's as good as it gets right there. So, Savage, number 3. Number 4, Travis Bazzana. Again, similar with Connor Griffin, but not as hyped. I think, you got to dock it down a little bit given the fact that you missed on Connor Griffin. But Travis Bazzana, he's been good. He's been a solid player. The Guardians really like him. He's likely to debut this year. I wouldn't be shocked if he does. He's not going to be like a Griffin where he might be an opening day guy. I don't think that's going to happen. But either way, a great pick nevertheless, because he has performed up to expectations in the minors. Mainly a double-A kind of guy. Right now, he's probably going to start in triple-A. He'll probably reach the majors. So we'll see how he does. But, yeah, I'm comfortable having him at pick number 4. All right, then pick number 5, JJ Weatherholt. Noah, you could have gotten this guy. I mean, this guy is the infielder you want. I am so jealous that Tyler got JJ Weatherholt. We could have maybe we trade for him. I don't know. I want him because he's got all these tools that I feel like some of these other infielders don't have. He's got the hit tool. I think he also has a path to the bigs. Again, there's nothing wrong with Connor Griffin, nothing wrong with Bazana or whatever, but Bazana. God, there's nothing wrong with them. But I like JJ Weatherholt just for the fact that they're clearly the Cardinals are clearly building around him. He is the centerpiece for the future. With Griffin, with Bazana, like there is some questions of, oh well, there might be some other prospects, or we might bring in some other guys, or is there room right now? With Weatherholt, there is room. I mean, the only guy I guess would be Thomas JC, who's been fine. He was also a top prospect as well. But with Weatherholt, it appears that he is going to be the middle infielder, whether it's second, whether it's short, third base, maybe. I don't know. But I like the future for him a little bit more, especially given where he was selected. Now, that's not to say that, Bazana was a bad pick by any means. That's not what I'm saying. Or that Connor Griffin's going to be more successful. I think they're all great selections. I just like Weatherholt from what I've seen thus far. So we will see. Either way, that's been the top 5 picks. Take a look more at, I guess just at the league, the draft in general, rather. I think that it's just so funny looking at the rest of the draft, just how terrible some of these other picks are. I mean, I know Nick picked last, Mr. Irrelevant, Anderson Espinoza, the former pod prospect. Some of these other guys, I mean, like guys that aren't on the on the teams anymore, guys who really haven't done much. I will shout out Ben Hess, who was Tyler's pick in the 5th round. That was a solid one. He's been getting really good action in spring training. And I think when I say bad picks, I think we're talking about the bots. Andrew Salas, he's still got plenty of time. He was like an international guy. Ethan Salas' brother, obviously, last year in single A just played like garbage. I mean, he did have like some good things, like he did walk and he did steal bases, but his average was awful. And, so we'll see what comes from him. I think if you look, I mean, honestly, Tyler's draft was pretty damn solid. Weatherholt, Ryan Sloan, a top prospect for the Mariners. Waldschmidt, again, the guy's been lighting it up in spring training. Lindsey, I don't know. He hasn't really rung any bells, so not an ideal draft choice there. But Ben Hess, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, if we're going, I mean, I ranked the top 5 picks. I probably could rank who had the best draft. Zane really hit on Griffin. The other guys, I mean, Boston Bateman, I believe that's who he is. He's okay. I don't know if he's going to really turn out to be much. Bouchard with Cam Smith, that was nice, especially for his outfield eligibility. But now there's some questions about whether, where he's going to play this season. And he's also been a little bit up and down. I did like Nick's draft. Johnson, White, Caldwell, Condon, all solid players. I know Nick is a fan of the international flavor as well. So, Nick, if you're watching, appreciate you. We'll see what these guys turn out to be. I mean, Condon, he's got pop. Caldwell, kind of that speedster, kind of average kind of guy. White did just get hurt recently, so that's a concern for sure. Johnson plays for the Angels. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but some solid picks from Nick. Going down the list, Bouchard, Brody Brecht, I guess, but he plays for Colorado, and that was our mistake drafting Chase Dolander, unfortunately. Let's go down to Newman. Seaver King, solid. Josuar Gonzalez, that is a great pick, but he used it in a trade to give to Nick. So, Nick is licking his chops at getting him back in that return. We'll skip us. We'll go to us in a sec. For Tommy, I mean, the Cags and Caminiti 1-2, pretty damn solid. Blakey Burke, I think he picked him back up after dropping him. And then Dowdy I like that pick as well. Travis Hagen-Smith, Bench, Okie, DeBarge, guy that's not even on a team right now. Awas Vivas, I believe. Top 3 picks pretty solid. I mean, I've seen him on some lists. Carson Bench, obviously, I mean, the cornerstone of that Peralta trade. Smith is going to be a guy, so we'll see. For Nate, didn't love the Hysun Kim pick that high, especially. But, there's some rumors that he might, especially with Kike Hernandez hurt, that Hysun Kim could be the guy starting for the Dodgers. So finally, he'll see some return on investment. Tibbs, I mean, a top prospect, but he's been moved around. Honeycutt, ironically enough, 3 swings, 3 homers for him in spring training. So maybe he hit gold. And then Yannick, I don't know how you pronounce that last name. I've seen him on some boards as well, but I don't know if top guys either way. Again, I like Tyler's picks. Joey's picks. I don't know who Sterling is. Obviously, he's not big enough for me to know. I liked Culpepper. That's why I got him. But unfortunately, that's why I traded him. Why we traded him, rather, to T-Flow, unfortunately, for Lucas Giolito, who still isn't signed to a team, which we love. We don't want that. But anyway, I mean, some great picks from Joey. Chase Burns, obviously, is a dog. Rayner is going to be good. Gillen as well, I've seen. Could be a guy. And then Culpepper, as we mentioned, top 100 guy. But Joey dropped him for no good reason. Anyway, looking at Noah's team. Noah, I like his picks as well. Top 3, especially. He's got some good arms. Santucci, I'm not really sure about. Orlando, I don't know. I haven't really heard about him. And then T-Flow, Montgomery, Sasaki, fine. Cash Mayfield, I mean, he's the top guy for the Pods. Will he even stay on the team? That's the question. He's likely going to get shipped somewhere. And then Alvarez as well. So that's the 2025 FYPD draft analysis. So with that, just want to go over, I guess, a mock draft of this year's prospects. And we'll kind of talk about, hold on. Before we move on, let's talk about the Pods draft picks real quick. It was terrible. I mean, Anderson Brito, we shipped off to Joey. Shitaro Mori, he could still be a guy. He's kind of a development person, but I don't know. I'm down to pick him up again if he starts to make noise. And then Salas, Salas wasn't that great in single A. He's still young, so we understand that. Tamayuki Sugano, we had him. We brought him up a little too early because he was like, oh, he's going off for double-digit games, and then he starts sucking. Then we drop him, and then he starts going off. He starts getting 20-point games back to back to back, and it's like, what the hell? And eventually he sucked, and now he's on Colorado, so I'm not too upset about that. But definitely could have used a younger guy like a Mayfield or a Waldschmidt or a Caldwell, and that was our bad. Christian Moore. When you have Nick Kurtz and Connor Griffin right behind them, it hurts even more. But no pun intended. But I don't dislike the pick, honestly. I think it's still early. The guy shows pop. I mean, I love his energy when he plays. I mean, the guy is fun to watch. The Angels believe in him. We still keep him. We're wanting, and he's in our minor slot right now because he has eligibility again. But I'm down to see where he goes because he hits homers. He plays second base, and it would be nice to have kind of a young second baseman. And the Angels are going to give him a chance. So we'll see where that leads. Either way. Moving on. So let's move on to 2026. And so we did the first round. Excuse me. First round draft choices. So yeah, let's get to our first round picks. And give me 1 second because my throat needs some water. All right, there we go. That's better. All right, so here is the Winterfell first-year player mock draft first round. So as you can see, this with a little bit of help from the commish, this is the first round that we put together that we think most likely could be the thing. So first round, let's go right down. Noah selecting Kate Anderson. T-Flow getting Tatsuya Imai. Travis, Eli Willits. Joey, Liam Doyle. Nate, Manitaka Murakami. Tommy, Ethan Holiday. Tyler, Seth Hernandez. The Bods picking Jamie Arnold. Nick, Kazuma Okamoto. Bouchard getting Dax Kilby. Newman with Luis Hernandez. And Zane picking JoJo Parker. So these are, at least in my opinion, what I've seen in plenty of mock drafts. These guys are mostly going in the first round. So Anderson, I believe, at least we kind of came to the consensus, is the top guy. I mean, Imai is going to be successful. He's going to play for Houston, and we know how good Houston arms have been. But Anderson just has that upside that Imai, because he's a little bit younger. He's been really good. Seattle has amazing pitchers, and they pitchers who also have been hurt. So there's some question marks in terms of, is he going to get starts? When is that going to happen? But I think Noah, especially based on his team's a little bit rebuilding, probably need to take a younger guy. So that was our thought. And then obviously T-Flow, you go for the next best thing, which is Imai. Then you kind of go down the list. I think that either Murakami or Okamoto is going to get picked in the top 5. That's at least our thought. And then Eli Willits, who, amongst a lot of people, is like, consensus number 1 guy is Eli Willits, even though he's young. So he's likely to be a top 5. I think you could mix and match anywhere. It's unsure about who goes with what. I think Joey goes for Liam Doyle. I think Joey likes young guys. He likes good pitchers. I mean, he picked Paul Skeens for a reason. So I could see him picking Liam Doyle. I don't see him going for Murakami. I think that's more Nate's speed. Looking down the list, for us, I mean, there's a lot of questions like, Kilby could go to Tommy, or, we could see Okamoto going to Tommy or Nate or Tyler. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of variance in this first round. I think for us, for the Bods, as we said in previous pods, that, pitching is going to be a thing we're going to look for. And there's plenty of good arms to go around. I mean, Seth Hernandez, we have going to Tyler. They say his fastball is amongst best in baseball for young guys. He is just a high schooler, and Nick and I were looking this up, that Hunter Green was the last high school draftee to make the bigs and actually be good. So there is some question marks about, can high school pitchers actually dominate, actually be successful? I don't know. So that's the big question mark. So that's why we picked Jamie Arnold. The guy's a college guy. There's a little bit more certainty. High recruit as well. There's no doubt that, that he's going to be a guy in the league. When is he going to come up? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but he's at least in 2025, according to MLB.com, was the number 4 prospect, and overall just has good fastball, great slider, solid changeup, and overall, he was a semifinalist for the Golden Spikes Award for a reason. 159 strikeouts to 26 walks as part of Florida State. Like that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. And at least as far as we know, no real injury concerns. So that's what I like. I like that he's a little bit older, and there is some availability with the Athletics going to New Park. Likely to be, he's not going to go to Sacramento and get shelled. So I'm optimistic about what we see from him. Going down the list, Luis Hernandez, at least, is the consensus number 1 international prospect that we can choose from. I wouldn't be shocked if Bouchard got him. I wouldn't be shocked if even, I don't know if Nick will go that high to get him, but they're really high on this kid, and for good reason. He's got all the tools. I know that Bouchard likes the Dominican guys, so we will see. We will see what happens. Anyway, going down the list, I think in the first round especially, it's kind of best player available. I think given the youth of these guys, unless you're drafting a catcher when you have 2 catchers, or let's just say Newman, like Mark's not going to draft another third base specialist like an Andrew Fisher, right? He might just a trade, but he already has 3 third basemen in his arsenal. So he's not going to get another one. And then where's he going to go? In the utility slot? I don't So we'll see. But either way, that is the first round. Let me know your thoughts, folks. Oh, here we go. We got the chat. I low key popped off. Not gonna lie. Hey, shout out. Appreciate you guys watching. This is a lot of fun. Anyway, let's keep it rolling here. So that is the first round. We can go back to the second round here in a moment. But bang, second round. So this is where I come in. Nick and I were not working on this. This is just me alone. So second round, we go Noah, Kyson Witherspoon, T-Flow, Cruz Schoolcraft, Travis, Andrew Fisher, Joey, Ethan Conrad, Nate, Gage Wood, Tommy, Ivar Arquette, Tyler, Steele Hall, the Bods, Tyler Brenmer, Nick with Francisco Renteria, Bouchard, Wandy Asihen, Newman with Gavin Feen, and Zane with Johenzi Colome. So we see a lot of the top international guys go because I think there's a lot more hype around the international players than before. Just kind of going down the list. I mean, Nick and I talked off pod just about, obviously we're Winterfell is a league full of Pods fans. Most of us are rooting for the Pods. A couple of Giants fans, unfortunately, but most of us, Pods included, are a little partial to the Padres. And so I think that Schoolcraft, again, being one of the number one prospects on the team, is going to be a bit of a premium. I think that he's going to get selected in the second round. By who, I don't know. But I think T-Flow will reach. I think he'll reach up that high and get him. Should he? That's up to you. I'm not going to make any things. But I think that's where I see him landing personally. Going down the list, Travis, I think, could go for Andrew Fisher. He needs a third base guy. I like Andrew Fisher. I think he's a dog. One of the top third basemen, which, again, we are in desperate need of. But, guy just hit a home run today or yesterday, whenever it was, just absolutely obliterated a pitch. So, and the thing is availability, right? Milwaukee, they don't really have a good third baseman right now. They have plenty of moving parts on their infield. So he has a path to the bigs. So that's why I like him there. Joey, Ethan Conrad, I feel like Joey's going to mix it up. I don't think he's going to go just straight pitching the whole time. I think he's going to get outfielders and kind of, best available. A lot of people do like what they see from Ethan Conrad. So he'll get picked there. A kid out of Wake Forest. Gage Wood to Nate, kind of another big arm who, there's a lot of shortstops, a lot of bats. And I think that Gage Wood from Arkansas, guy, big hype, guy plays a lot of energy. I think that Nate goes for him. Tommy, I think, goes for Arquette. For us, again, I think we really want to focus on arms. That's something that we really need. And unless Fisher's there, I think we go with a guy like Brenmer. And Brenmer might not be there by the time we pick. So, again, all this is just speculative, but the UCSB product, another Angels pitcher who, I'm not super stoked about that, but people really like him. Really good fastball, good changeup. At least that's what's the scouts have said. The slider, not amazing, and obviously some big questions about durability, but guy's got potential. I mean, we'll see. And obviously, plenty of open rotation spots for the Angels who have absolutely nobody. So we'll see. The final 3 or 4, I mean, Gavin Feen, I think, is, another guy that high school guy that, people are really high on. So I think he's going to get picked in the second round. But in terms of the international guys, again, from what I've heard, I don't know. Maybe the rest of the league is tipping their hand and just lying about some of these international guys and pumping them up to be something. But I have, at least what I've seen from other mock drafts, that Asihen, Renteria, Colome, even Angel Gomez, they all might go. They all might go in the top 2 rounds. And so that's something for us that I'm like, man, kind of like some of these guys, so, but I'd rather, get the pitching need met than to try and, take a risk or pick a guy too high when there's someone, when there's a pitcher available. Like, we have plenty of good bats. there's no doubt that we have amazing bats, and that I feel pretty confident in my ability to seek the waiver wire and scout up and coming guys. But pitchers, I don't feel as confident. So I think that's why we go with Brenberg there. So anyway, after that round, we'll head now to the third, and excuse me, yeah. So most of the top international guys are gone there, but now to the third round, we see a lot more of the kind of homegrown college, high school draft guys get selected. So go down the list: Noah, Ethan Frey, T-Flow, Jace Laviolette, Travis Xavier Nayans, Joey Ike Irish, Nate Billy Carlson, Tommy Kason Cunningham, Tyler Charles Davalan, the Bods Josh Hammond, Nick Devin Taylor, Bouchard Marek Houston, Newman Angiabel Gomez, and Zane with Gavin Killen. A couple of names to note. I mean, at least according to the draft prospect rankings from MLB, Ike Irish was pretty high, at least when the draft happened, but since kind of slid. There's a chance that he might go to Noah or T-Flow, but I think Joey, Ike Irish is a Baltimore guy. Hey, shout out Short Ginger if you're watching, my boy. Either way, Joey already has Adley Rushman. You got to figure with a guy like Ike Irish, he plays the outfield as well, that maybe Joey wants to double up on his Orioles catchers. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but that was the thought process there. A lot of these guys, Jace Laviolette, huge power numbers. He's amongst tops, top 20 prospect. Billy Carlson, same thing. A lot of these hitters. Josh Hammond. For us, I think the name pops out as a guy. He played third base. He's a guy that has a good power tool, a decent hit tool. I think we need a third baseman, and this guy is probably as good as we're going to get, especially with the arm that he has. I think that he's got a chance. So, and plus he's playing for Kansas City, so he's got the ability to take over there whenever he gets up to the big leagues. All right. Anyway, moving along. So let's get to round number 4. This is where we see some more guys that, again, have a lot more name recognition. I think this is where, again, I don't mean to paint T-Flow as like some pods loving, fanboy, but he's not that. Sungmung Song, he's a guy that's going to go. I think that we have too many Padres fans here that would it not be down to pick him in the 4th round? Like, screw it, let's just pick him, right? Going down the list, Wahiva Aloy for Noah, T-Flow Sungmung Song, Travis Sean Gamble, Joey Brendan Summerhill, Nate Daniel Pierce, Tommy Slater DeBrun, Tyler Riley Quick, the Bods Janser Custodio, Nick Patrick Forbes, Bouchard Quentin Young, Newman Ethan Petrie, and Zane Mason Neville, one of the two. Some guys I want to point out. We'll talk about us in a sec. Slater DeBrun, part of that trade package for Tampa, and I think he'll be a good prospect. He'll likely get picked up. To reply to you, Noah, I see Ethan Frey ranked 48 for FYPD. Why do you have him at the top of the 3rd? At least a lot of this I'm going off based on it was what was it? Harry Knows Ball had Ethan Frey top of the list, and Frey, again, it depends on the site you look at. Some guys are higher on him than others. I think he's really started to come up draft rankings just in recent years. Power 55, hit 50, run 50. He's got a bunch of different tools, plays for Houston. I've seen people be really high on him. I'm not sure, what he's shown to say that he's not worth it. But I think also, this is the fun of the draft. It's just seeing what sticks. Like if a guy, like other people in our league might like him. I don't know. And guys that I have high, they may have low. Guys that they have low, I have high. Just this is kind of what it is. Looking over, for our guy, Gianser Custodio, not a top 5 international guy, according to MLB, but he is a top 10. In fact, the top 7, the number 7 guy. 65 hit tool, 55 power tool. And that's mainly why we want to target him because, for us, again, I don't care if this guy's not speedy. I don't care if he has a bad arm or can't feel. I know that does limit his potential. Slater Matater, shout out to you, Tommy. That does limit their potential in the bigs. I'm not going to deny that. But I would much rather have a guy who can hit than a guy who's a really good fielder and a really good runner. Like, I don't know. I feel like this game is becoming more offensive as it goes. And especially in fantasy, I'd rather have a guy who can hit than a guy who cannot hit. Anyway, with that, so that's why Custodio is on our board. All right. Final round here. And again, this is totally up in the air, but the 5th round. Noah, Marcus Phillips, Tiflo, Zachary Root, Travis, Nick Becker, Joey, Landon Harmon, Nate, Jaden Fauski, Tommy, Anthony Janssen, Tyler, Mitch Voigt, The Bods, Juan Rico, Nick, Kane Kepley, Bouchard, Santiago Solarte, Newman, Elian Rosario, and Zane, Ricky Monies. And the only reason I put Ricky Monies for Zane is because that is just the sickest name of all time. Man is straight Monies. I like that there. So a lot of the international guys I have going in the 5th. Maybe I'm just way overhyping international prospects, or I'm just looking at the wrong places like Roto Baller or whatever. But they have some of these guys high on their list. So wouldn't deny that. They get selected, or maybe they don't. I don't know. Up to you guys, the guys that are watching the stream right now, to see what you like. But for us, I mean, Juan Rijo, we went through all the different lists, and again, we have to kind of trust MLB's rankings. But Rijo with a 60 hit and a 60 power tool, I love that. Again, I was looking for the guys who had the 60s. With sometimes it's the 65 and the 50. It's like, okay, I'll take one or the other. But he's got 60 hit, 60 power. What else could you want? So I like him. Signed with Seattle. 17. We'll see what happens. I think a lot of these guys are crapshoots. I mean, you look at the international rankings, right? And you think, oh, well, these guys are there for sure. They're number 1, blah, blah, blah. Well, do you know Yoelqui Cespedes? He was the number 1 guy in 2019. Hasn't done anything. Number 4 guy in 2019, Pedro Leon. Hasn't done anything. Got DFA'd. A lot of these guys don't turn out to be anything, unfortunately. But the guys that do hit, they hit. So the number 2 guy in 2019, Jason Dominguez. Let's go back 2016. Number 1 prospect, Luis Robert Jr. Number 3 prospect, Adrian Morejon. So, or, number 7, Lourdes Gurriel. Number 13, Luis Garcia Jr. Number 20, Randy Arozarena. And I believe even Fernando Tatis was, I think he was the 30th guy, 28th or 30th guy on the international prospects. So Luis Robert, you think he's ass? Trade him. Trade him us. I'm down. Let's ship some prospects. I'll take the ass if you don't want it, Noah. I'm down. Either way, that's been the mock draft of the first year player draft. Appreciate you guys commenting in the comments. Some more things before I get out of here because I got social plans this evening. So one thing I wanted to get over to talk about is kind of talking about the idea of like diamonds in the rough, transitioning a little bit, looking at rotations up for grabs. So the one thing that I loved about our squad last year was we had Noah Cameron. I mean, this was a guy that wasn't a top prospect. He was not a top 100 guy. Not many people were talking about him, but there was availability in the Royals rotation. I was pissed as hell because Nick got Chris Bubich, a guy that was amazing this year, arguably better than Cameron, although Cameron was not hurt and lasted longer. what I looked for was in spring training, guys that were getting these starters looks, and I'm like, ooh, diamond in the rough. Like, obviously, Bubic had started before, and he did have, he had started before, and he was a guy that like wasn't. It wasn't like Noah Cameron, who had never played in Major League Baseball, but he was this guy that again was a diamond in the rough. It's like, ooh, like he's not getting. He's kind of slept on, right? And so you look at all these rotations up for grabs: Angels, Twins, White Sox, A's, Rays, Rangers, Phillies, Cardinals, Giants, Diamondbacks, Nationals, Dodgers, Braves, Pods, Pirates. All of these teams have that fifth spot, or even sometimes the fourth spot that is open, like the Phillies. Taijuan Walker. There's no chance that Taijuan Walker is going to be the fourth pitcher on this Phillies squad. Like that's just not going to happen. So we see with the Cardinals as well. All of these rotations have some sort of deficiency. Braves, injuries, and let's have Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder is going to be a guy. I don't think so. That's just not going to happen. Same thing with the Diamondbacks. Plenty of injuries have absolutely ravaged these rotations. The Twins, especially Pablo Lopez out for the year. We see, Mick Abel could be the guy. He could step in. Zebby Matthews. That's why Zane got him, and why we probably all should have got him, right? So there's plenty of rotations up for grabs. And when that happens, there's starts and there's ability to have guys who come out of the woodworks who become guys. And so going into that list right now, the diamonds in the rough, let's get to it right here. So last year, it was guys, again, like Chris Bubic and Noah Cameron, two guys for the Royals that double digits all the time. oh, he's yours, Nick. All right, we'll see about that. We'll see who makes the trade here, huh? Diamonds in the rough, anyway. So again, a lot of these Royals guys, right? Like, Stephen Kolek, Ryan Bergert, both for the Pods. On the Pods, like they had some good performances, some double-digit performances. A guy you could start, a guy you could stream, guys who had minors eligibility, both of them. Maybe not Kolek, but more Bergert. Loved them. And then they go to the Royals, and they were even better. Bergert lights out. Bergert also a little bit healthier. Kolek's got some injury right now. So there's a chance maybe they go a six-man. I don't know. But they will be the next guys up if someone goes down that Royals rotation. For us, we hired both of them. Jason Alexander, George Costanza, lookalike in Houston, and Brandon Walter. Both guys, double digits. I mean, Brandon Walter had an insane line. He got hurt, needed TJ. He's out. He's out for a long time. But Brandon Walter had a 52-4 K to walk ratio last year. Insane. He actually had, I looked up these stats because I know people aren't big fans of this stat or anything, but I like it. The quality start stat, right? Because especially in fantasy, it is so important. Like, all right, 6 innings pitched, only 3 earned runs allowed. Like, I like that. That's guaranteed to get you a double digit, right? Even if he gives up 3, like that's a 12. That's a 12 piece right there. Obviously, he gives up, hits, and you got to hope for some strikeouts, blah, 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 whatever. But Brandon Walter ranked 13th in baseball with 67% of his starts being quality starts. So I like him. Going down the list here, Shane Smith, Logan Henderson, Jansen Junk, Grant Holmes, Jose Soriano, Landon Rupp, Matthew Liberatore. Oh, I put Jansen Junk twice. That's how much I like him. Mike Burrows, Jacob Lopez. So these are all guys that either weren't really like mainstay starters. They were either, guys who had minors eligibility or guys who were just long relievers that turned into beasts. Like Jansen Junk was a long reliever. He, along with Justin Robleski, guys that we utilized as these long relievers, just Troy Melton, same thing. Brent Herter the year before, where we would time it out, where we knew he was going to long relief. He was going to piggyback on someone. We save a start. We pick up this guy, gives us a 12 piece or an 8 piece, whatever it was, a 15 piece. There was a time where Brant Herter was going off double digits every week. It was amazing. So these are some things I love. I mean, Grant Holmes, a guy that wasn't a prototypical starter, but gets his chance and just lights it up. For the Braves last year, 3.99 ERA, 21 starts, 115 innings, 123 strikeouts, right? Love, big strikeout guy. Jacob Lopez, a guy we all should have got. A consistent double-digit performer. Rope, I don't know, not ideal. I'm not really big on him. I'm not a big Giants guy, but he was talented. I mean, you got to give him credit. He did have a good ERA. Roop, my apologies. 3.8 ERA, 22 starts, 106 innings pitched, 102 strikeouts. He did have a high whip, though. That's the issue. A 1.481 whip, and that's what brought them down. He also plays for the Giants. He had a 7-7 record, so you're not going to win or lose there. But another guy, Mike Burrows. Nick and I have talked about him, that he is a dog. Playing for Houston, he's going to be a guy to watch out for who could really explode. I mean, we saw that before. I mean, even the Joe Musgrove, right, trade from the Pirates to Houston. I think he could be a mainstay and a guy that we all probably should have got. Love Grant Holmes. He's going to be a guy this year because of the injuries. So happy we kept him. We probably should have kept Jansen Junk. Towards the end of the year, he wasn't like super amazing. Logan Henderson, another guy who, was kind of slept on and then just exploded for the Brewers. Shane Smith, kind of same thing, right? Guys, all these guys on this list were not top prospects. These weren't guys that were brand name guys, but they had amazing seasons. And so that's the question is, can you find these diamonds in the rough and can they hit for your team? And so we'll see. We'll see what happens this season. So, excuse me, I put together a list of potential 2026 diamonds in the rough, and I hesitate to show you because I'm afraid you're going to get that. But you guys, reliever analysis. Come on, Nick, you like it. You like me talking about long relievers. You love them. These are mainly guys that these are a lot. These are definitely shots in the dark. You can't. The thing is, you can't predict them. As much as you'd love to predict, like who the hell knew that Brandon Walter was going to be a guy that would pitch for a 3.35 ERA, a 52K, to 4 walk ratio. Like, who knew that was going to happen? Who knew that he was going to be a dog for us? You can't predict them sometimes. Or a Jansen Junk who was successful. Like his numbers are terrible. A 6.48 ERA, he hardly even pitched. Or even a Jason Alexander, the guy who, when he was with Houston, was a dog. 3.66 ERA, 71 innings pitched, 60 Ks. Another guy that fits this, Bowden Francis, a guy who didn't really start games. He was in the bullpen, had a 1.73 ERA, 2023. For us in 2024, he was a guy that was on the precipice of 2 no-hitters and messed it up in the 9th, right? Via home runs, by the way. So regardless, this is our list of 2026 diamonds in the rough. Luis De Leon, Cole Drake, Michael Uyola, Dre Jameson, Foster Griffin, Drew Anderson. That's us. Carter Baumler, Nestor Armand, who Noah got. Shout out to you. I should have got that. I did not. Was not looking at that. Mitch Bradway and Lynn, David Davalio, and Kyle Leahy. So, Cade Winquist as well. A guy I've seen as like, okay, this long reliever who might get some spot starts just based on availability, right? And so you never know. Like when there's availability and a guy does well, the sky is really the limit. A lot of these guys are minor leaguers, like Cole Drake, Mitch Bratt. They were involved in those trades from the Rangers to the D-backs. The D-backs rotation looks a little bit hurt right now. Doesn't look amazing. There's a chance either of them reach the bigs. I know they're going to be in AAA for sure. Watch out for them. Davalio, same thing. Guy for the Rangers because there is some question marks there. Dre Jameson, I'm looking at. I keep seeing his name. These are guys on this list that I keep seeing their names, right? Jameson apparently has good stuff, but he was in the minors. That they're saying, he might be the heir apparent closer for the Diamondbacks. I don't know. I'm not sure. Griffin, Anderson, obviously KBO, overseas kind of guys. We'll see what happens with that. But Baumler, I've seen his name a couple times for the Rangers as well. So I'm not sure. do like Mitch Bratt and Cole Drake. Those are two bots. They're former bots. We had to drop for other higher rated guys. Wayne Lynn, same thing. He just got optioned today, so I might have to take this name off the list. But I like or Uyola, right? Him and Davalio, both guys that were among tops in innings pitched and like strikeouts and good ERA in AAA, so or Double A. Guys that are rated highly as okay. These might be the next guys up for Houston and the Rangers, respectively. So we'll see. Luis De Leon, I believe, with the Orioles as well. So guys, keep an eye on Kay Winquist. He's on the Major League roster for the Yankees. Will he be a guy? I don't know. Some people are saying that with Garrett Cole being out, that he might be a guy. I don't know. Final note, I just want to talk about Kyle Leahy. We see with all these diamonds in the roughs, right? Like even, Bubic. Like Bubic, again, previous starter, but Kyle Leahy, a guy that, he might turn into something. I mean, there is room in that Cardinals rotation right now. They don't know what the hell's going on with them. So I think that he's a guy I'm looking out for as a guy that's been really good at let me pull up the stats real quick. He's a guy that's been really good out of the pen. He has started, whether in the minors or majors, but mainly a bullpen guy. Finished games last year, a 3.07 ERA, 88 innings pitched, 80 Ks. Not overpowering, but something about him. I think he could be another one of these diamonds in the rough, but it's a big chance. Will he turn into something? He might be nothing. I don't know. So a lot of these questions, not entirely sure what's going to happen, but it's always fun finding those guys. Another couple of guys that we can mention by name. Kind of run down the list I made right here: Mike Bassel, Carmen Mlodzinski, not sure how to pronounce the name. Guy for Pittsburgh who's competing right now. Been a long reliever, Carmen. That guy, guy gets double digits. I like that guy. I think he could be something. I wish we kind of got him in the middle of the year last year, but again, another long reliever. Jake Latz, he's likely to compete or at least get the job. I don't know for the Rangers. Ben Brown for the Cubs, high K guy, has proven to be a good starter, but he might be that long relief type of guy. Eric Lauer, prime long relief man. Shawnee Newcomb for the White Sox. Justin Robleski, as we mentioned, and then another long relief guy for the Dodgers could be starting games with was it Blake Snell is hurt right now. Kidero Montero potentially for the Tigers, and then Joey Wentz for the Braves. So all these guys, there's potential. There's definitely potential there. Spring training, it's a long time before the season starts. We still have 25 days, so that's more than 3 weeks. Anything could happen. Guys can get hurt. Guys can get shut down for the year. We've seen it. They're dropping like flies, right? So anything can happen. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching, all two of you right now. But appreciate everybody watching. We'll edit this video, put it on for people to watch. But it's been a pleasure. This was a lot of fun. This is live, which I didn't know how it worked. So at the beginning, it was all fuzzy and stuff. But a lot of fun interacting with you guys on here. I'm excited for tomorrow morning. It's like the night before Christmas, right? So tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'm going to be on there, bro. We got our game plan. So anyway, appreciate you watching. That's going to do it for this edition of the Bahdcast. We're likely to have some guests on tomorrow. Do a little first round recap. Hopefully everyone is on time with their picks. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Appreciate you watching. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you tomorrow.